Ms. T, would you call the roll, please?
Hal Glanville,
Here.
Linda Varvel,
Here.
Larry Pratt,
Here.
J.R. Huddleston,
Here.
Deborah Johnston,
Here.
Travis Orbach,
Here.
Melissa Niles,
Here.
Bill Lukens.
Here.
Thank you.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next on our list is the oath of office for our newly elected officials. Misty?
If you'd like to stand where you're at, that's fine, and I can stand up here, or if you'd like to come out and press forward. We're going to all stand together?
Yeah, we'll just stand together.
Okay. If you'll hold up your right hand and repeat after me. I'm not going to say each of your names, I'll just say I, and then go ahead and say your name. So I
I, Deborah Johnston,
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the codified laws of the state of South Dakota, and the ordinances of the city of Hot Springs. I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my knowledge and ability, perform all the duties of my office. I will base my decision on what is best for the government and the citizens of Hot Springs,
and
not
not
under personal gain, or
not
under any direct or indirect obligation to others.
All right, thank you, congratulations.
Welcome to our new council members, and to Deborah and Linda also. All right, that takes us to the election of president and vice president for the 2023 through 2024 council. Do you have a nomination for who you would like to be your council president?
I would like to make a motion for Bill Lukens as council president.
Second.
Second.
Bill, are you willing?
Yes.
Anyone else? So let's make this official. Starting last year, I believe we actually went down and did a roll call vote rather than on paper. So, Misty, would you call the roll for Bill Lukens to be the council president?
Hal Glanville,
Yes.
Deborah Johnston,
Yes.
Travis Orbach,
Yes.
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
Linda Varvel,
Yes.
Melissa Niles,
Yes.
J.R. Huddleston.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Same thing for council vice president. Is there anyone like would nominate somebody to be your council vice president?
I'd like to nominate J.R. Huddleston.
Second.
Are you willing?
Yes.
Okay. Any other nominations? Misty, would you call the roll, please?
Deborah Johnston,
Yes.
Bill Lukens,
Yes.
Melissa Niles,
Yes.
Linda Varvel,
Yes.
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
Travis Orbach,
Yes.
Hal Glanville.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. As always, remember if there's a conflict of interest, if there's something that you feel you shouldn't be voting on, please let the rest of the council know before you vote. And as always, remember the microphones are your friends. Get up close and personal with them. Make sure that the public can hear what you're talking about. Plus, it comes through better on YouTube for the recorded council meetings. So, next, need a motion to approve an amended agenda. The first amendment will be on current claims. That amount will be reduced by $294.50, making the new amount $79,482.29. and that comes about from a change on page 1 of your current claims. So on page 1, the very last item, Amerisports, that is being deleted. That amount shows up on page 6.
Just a portion of it, 1250 remains, just the 294.50.
Now, on page 6, at the bottom of it, that 294.50 is included in the 736.39. So those are the changes that bring the new total to $79,482.29. New business item E. A plat of Idlewood North needs to be changed to a plat of Idlewood North Tract. And then Idlewood South needs to be changed to Idlewood South Tract. And then we'll be adding an executive session per codified law 1-25-23 legal. So we're changing the current claims amount. Adding tract to, in 2 places to new business item E. And adding an executive session.
Make a motion to approve an amended agenda. Current claims reducing by $294.50 to $79,482.29. Item E under new business, changing the wording from a plat of Idlewood North to a plat of Idlewood North Tract, and Idlewood South to Idlewood South Tract, and adding executive session in accordance with codified law 1-25-23 legal.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Need a motion to approve the minutes from the June 20th council meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 20th council meeting. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Need a motion to approve the bills in between.
Make a motion to approve bills in between for $114,405.34.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Motion to approve the current claims.
Make a motion to approve the current claims, $79,482.29.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Motion to approve the Wells Fargo credit card claims.
I make a motion to approve the Wells Fargo credit card claims of $10,161.73.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Communications from the public. Is there anyone that would like to address the council tonight? Come on down.
Go on down to the mic and give your address, please.
Name and address, please.
Name, rank, and serial number.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for acknowledging the importance of the audio at these meetings. In the past, they've been pretty much unintelligible. So thank you very much. Second point I'd like to make is on searching for the meeting tonight, I go to the city website, I come up with Hot Springs Community Calendar 2022. We all know what year it is. On Wednesday, July 5th, there is no meeting mentioned in the city website. So just to alleviate confusion from the citizens of Hot Springs, we might redouble our effort to keep the website current. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Can you please state your name
you.
and address?
What's that?
Can you please state your name and address?
Yeah. My name is Jeffrey Larive, L-A-R-I-V-E.
Can you show me what you're looking at? Because I just pulled up the city website and we're on July 2023 and there's a meeting today. Maybe there's a difference between the mobile and So here's our, it's on our homepage, I'm just right on our homepage, government meeting. I'm not sure, you're in Arkansas. Yeah.
Forgive me, thank you.
Oh, okay.
No problem, sir.
Somebody
We do
has to
make
keep us on our
mistakes, so
toes.
thanks for checking.
I've had people call me from Hot Springs, Arkansas to complain about things, so
Okay.
don't feel bad.
Anyone else? Name and address, please.
Lorna Walgren, 841 Indianapolis Avenue. I'd like to apologize for my voice.
Speak right up next to the microphone.
And this is my friend. I just met her. But anyway, I wrote you a letter, and it was short and sweet. My dad built the house in 1961. I don't want to look out the window and see huge signs. I think it's a pity that the south side of the bypass is not respected better. You have a view of the Sisters, Catholic and Sugarloaf. Don't let it go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorna.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else? All right. We'll move on. Can I get a motion to approve personnel actions A through K?
Make a motion to approve personnel action, item A through K.
Second.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Did you get that, Misty?
I moved by Huddleston, seconded by Pratt.
Yes.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. On to ordinance. Our ordinance item A, second read of ordinance 1247.
Make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 1247, the supplemental appropriation ordinance. Second.
Discussion? Misty, would you call the roll?
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
Linda Varvel,
Yes.
Melissa Niles,
Yes.
Travis Orbach,
No, I haven't had time to read it, study it.
Bill Lukens,
Yes.
Deborah Johnston,
Yes.
J.R. Huddleston.
Yes.
Hal Glanville.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, the motion passes. On to resolutions. Our first one, Resolution 2023-16, a resolution appointing Ward 1 Alderman Larry Pratt.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-16, a resolution appointing Ward 1 Alderman Larry Pratt to the Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management District Board of Commissioners.
Second.
Discussion? Now, this would be Larry's second term.
Craig left me.
All in favor?
Aye. Abstained.
Opposed? Did you get Larry abstaining? The motion passes. Resolution 2023-17, a resolution for gratuitous transfer of 16 WatchGuard Vista body cameras.
I make a motion to approve 2023-17, a resolution for gratuitous transfer of 16 WatchGuard Vista body cameras to the Fall River County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Discussion? Chief Norton, is there anything you'd like to update the council with on this?
I don't really have a lot to say about it. They've used their life with us. Some of them are still in working order. The sheriff's office is fully staffed now. They don't have a full fleet of cameras. The ones that they currently have are the same infrastructure, same body cameras, same evidence storage that we had before we upgraded to the Axons here a couple weeks ago. So short of them sitting on our shelf collecting dust, I figured we could give them over to those guys and let them use whatever life's left out of them. Just help our relationship with our local law enforcement, so, yeah.
Any questions for Chief Norton? How the new camera's working?
Oh, they're fantastic. Appreciate it. They're awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Resolution item C, Resolution 2023-18, a resolution establishing the City of Hot Springs 2023 Archery Deer Access Program.
I make a motion to approve 2023-18, a resolution establishing the COOHS 2023 Archery Deer Access Program, City of Hot Springs.
Second.
Discussion? Bill, JR, would you walk us through this?
Okay, for, I guess, as long as I've been on council, we've had numerous citizen complaints about the damage that deer have been doing to people's property. We've been working with South Dakota Department of Game, Fish, and Parks on what could be done. This year, we could not arrange a special hunt, but they did, because of the number of deer that the chief counted. The survey, and help me, Chief, just in the north half of town, there were around 120, and what Trenton Halfley told us that in the past years we'd been submitting surveys around 35 or 40, which I'm not, and everybody looked at us like we had three heads when we submitted those numbers. They said until you started hitting around 100, there's no way the state will let you harvest deer. Well, in the north half of town, we hit around 125 or 30. In the south half of town, we counted another 100. So they allowed us to harvest in town, but it will be not an additional hunt, but it'll be during the state archery season, which runs from September 1st through January 1st. So in order to harvest a deer, and it'll be any legal deer, you'll have to have a state archery permit. You will then apply for a city deer tag, which will be a $20 fee. In order to get that, you'll have to prove competency by shooting 3 out of 4 arrows in an 8-inch paper plate at 30 yards. We will issue tags that will be valid for 1 week at a time at 4 different areas in town. One will be School Street Park, 2 different areas on the golf course that were selected to be remote enough to be away from houses, and one at around the city brush pile, around the city shops. The goal is to harvest a maximum of 75 deer this year. We will not allow harvesting on the golf course until, I think it's the 15th of November, because we want to take advantage of allowing golfers, if we have a good late fall, we want to utilize the golf course as long as possible. If you draw a tag in an area and there's other people present, you can't hunt while there's other people present. You'll be issued a permit that you'll have to keep with you, so this will be our first shot at it. Pardon the pun. And then hopefully next year we'll be in line to where maybe we can have get in line and the state will allow us a special hunt. So this is our first try at managing the damage that the deer are doing in town. And so it'll be, again, any legal deer, bucks, does. If it's legal to harvest it in South Dakota, it'll be legal to harvest it in the city of Hot Springs.
Bill, correct me if I'm wrong. The competency training they have to go through or prove that they're competent with a bow, is that assistance by the state helping us run that?
That'll actually be, the chief of police will be
Chief Norton?
verifying that.
Okay. I know at one time we asked the state for help. I didn't know that resolution. Okay, very good. Thanks. Thanks, Chief.
How did they divide the city up? Where did they decide north and west or south story?
It was actually west and south, west and east.
West and east?
Everything east of 16th Street going uptown was the first number. And everything going east down 60th was the second number. So we had a ton of deer uptown, a little bit lower numbers downtown.
Thank you, Chief.
Still
Sorry, a little directionally challenged. I've got the sense of direction of a demagnetized compass, so.
I have a question. How do we get the deer to those designated hunting areas? It's just, everyone wants to know.
I was responsible for drafting the resolution. But thanks for asking.
Okay.
Any other questions from council? Public, do you have any questions? All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. On to our old business item. Previously postponed use permit on review for Pine Tree Investments.
I make a motion that we deny the previous postponed use permit on review, Pine Tree Investments, Steve L. Schmanik, construct 2 single metal pole double-faced billboards on property at Truck 18 Bypass, Catholican Edition, Outlot 61 and 62, or is it 63? 62 and 63, Less Lot H-1, Outlot 61, 62, and 63 PT of Southeast 1, 4 Southwest 1/4, Mathers Plat, Less Lot H-2 of .06 acre, 25 square foot, feet plus or minus.
Second.
All right, and just to be clear, your motion was to deny?
Yes.
All right. Steve, you're with us tonight. Is there anything you'd like to say to council?
Yes.
Name and address, please.
Steve Schmanik, Oral, South Dakota. The reason for these billboards is to direct traffic to our downtown area. They're one of the highest visible ways of to get traffic in our downtown area. A lot of people want those. If you look in most cities, truck bypasses is where you take traffic that normally don't go downtown and direct it to our downtown area. And Lord knows our downtown area needs help. It wouldn't be a good idea to deny this because there's a lot of people who want these billboards downtown.
I have a question, Steve. If I understand this correctly, this will be 2 separate double-faced signs?
Yes, they're 25 foot off the ground. They're large signs, single pole. They're off to the side of the road. They're not obstructing any visibility. Everybody's using them. The hospital. I mean, these are very important to direct traffic. I understand the scenic value. Everybody thinks that a billboard looks bad, but you got to think back a little bit. When we had on the truck bypass, we had the landfill up on the hills, garbage dump for years and years, until I ended that several years ago through negotiating in my golf course. So we closed that. So we don't have to look at these garbage dumps anymore. So a billboard's not a bad looking thing.
Is it going to be lit?
Not necessarily, no. I hadn't planned on it, no. It's on the high side of that where headlights, when you go from both ways, because it's on the outside radius, headlights will hit it. So at night, you'll still see it. In the daytime, you don't need that. Single poles they're more attractive because there's less poles in the ground. One post is all it is. But
And any business in town can come to you and ask to have a billboard put up over here?
well, they can if I have them approved, they can ask to advertise on them, which there are people here even tonight. Kara's interested in advertising downtown too.
Right.
I've got roughly 13 billboards in the area, and all of them direct traffic to Hot Springs. They're not all on the truck bypass. Some of them are, but they're on 79, 18, 385. So I direct a lot of traffic to the downtown area with these billboards.
Any other questions from council?
I have a statement.
Let's get through our questions.
Okay. And we have her again.
So any more questions from Steve? Well, I do have questions, Steve. 12 foot by 38 feet, 12 foot tall, 38 feet wide?
Yeah, 25 foot off the ground is the base of it, and then they're up from there 12 foot.
Okay, so it'll be, the top of it will be 37 feet above the ground?
Yeah.
All right.
That's a normal height for a single pole.
Okay.
These are all approved prior, with the state, and we followed all the regulations for the city to approve these too. I know there were some questions that you couldn't see the advertisement for the hearing posted, and it was posted very clearly there.
Are there guarantees that they will always be advertising for someone in Hot Springs?
I've been here for many years, and I've had billboards here, and I've never advertised for anything but Hot Springs. I have promoted Hot Springs for the last 25 years, more than anybody. Not just with talk, but with money.
Any other questions, council? All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for another chance.
Do you have a question for Steve? That's the point we're at right now.
I can't talk to you, I have to talk to Steve.
What questions for Steve? We're past the public comments section. So if you have a specific question to help, understand.
All right, then why are some of the signs have nothing on them and the wood's falling apart? some of them are all faded out. They're not upkept. So I'm just so opposed to the spoiling of the view, and I'm begging you not to do it.
I do have 2 billboards that are faded and disrepair, but the way I handle billboards, I lease them out to an individual business, and they're to maintain their skin and the billboard. So that is not my responsibility, it's the people I lease to. So when one of them is Stay USA, the business I sold, the people are not maintaining the billboard as it should be.
But doesn't that ownership still fall back on you? You own those.
I own the sign, but not the skin. The skin is what's in disrepair. It needs
So your influence.
Skins need to be replaced about every 4 or 5 years.
So your influence to your leasee to get that taken care of, it would be.
I can ask him to fix them, yes. I can't force him to because he's leasing it for X amount of years and he's responsible for that. But I
if he
can ask him.
doesn't, but if he doesn't maintain it, is he not breaking the lease?
It's a question of whether it's maintained. I can say it's faded and it should be replaced, but he can say it's not faded and it's legible. It's an argument. It's a bad position.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Steve? Yes.
A couple. Ryan Engel, 1445 Albany Avenue. So these lease agreements that you can have with these new ones, can you incorporate maintaining a certain level of appearance on those? Okay. So I guess my question to the council as well is, all the proper procedures being followed to get these signs put up, possibly with your approval? That's what this is all about, right? You guys have to approve the use? And we're...
Yeah, a use permit on review.
Okay. And then the property it's going on is your property? Okay. We want, I mean, the bypass really is not super aesthetic the way it is. There's not a lot going to be covered, and we do need to get as much traffic in town as we can. That's not really in town. So whatever we can do to get more traction, people coming into town, I think is a good thing. And if maybe that's something he could look, maybe incorporate into his new lease agreements with these, and then as he renews the future lease agreements on the other ones, maybe he can incorporate some sort of a maintenance thing.
So that's the question you're asking him, right?
Yeah, that,
Okay.
I just verified.
And that's the reason why we're having this conversation, questions for him, not for us, so.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I would have come up with the public part, but I
But
usually see that
understandable. Yes, sir.
when we have a discussion about something on the agenda, it usually gets incorporated
I understand, sir.
to that, so.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions from council? At the last council meeting, when Dave was still on council, he had asked a question. Does DOT have any restrictions against the location of that particular sign because it's next to the runaway ramp? So I reached out to Rich Zucker in the Custer office and asked him that specific question. He said, no, the state is not concerned about the billboard being that close to the ramp. He said, in fact, given advancements in semis and braking systems and everything, the state is actually looking at going forward whether runaway ramps are actually necessary anymore. But in this particular case, the state doesn't have any restriction on having the sign that close to the runaway ramp. Deborah, you had said you
Yeah.
had a comment or a statement you wanted to make.
Yeah, I've had 6 or 8 constituents tell me that they do not want billboards on the truck bypass in front of the scenic Seven Sisters. And one of them told me about, historically, it was Lyndon Johnson's wife, Lady Bird Johnson, that initiated the Beautify America project, and that's when all the billboards were taken down. And everyone was so thrilled that you could see the countryside again. And I'm not sure when that turned back around and the billboards started coming back. But we are spending several $100,000 for wayfinding signage that's going to be tasteful, and it's going to display and direct people to our historic district. Historic districts are very tourist, they're destination points nowadays, and so we are going to be having signage that will direct people downtown with our new wayfinding signage that we're spending a lot of money in order to beautify Hot Springs with the new lighting and this signage, and it's all going to be very ornamental, and I think we will go against what we're trying to achieve by adding billboards. So.
Anyone else? Steve, what you're asking for is an off-premise use of the use on review. So in looking at the ordinance, it's a little confusing for me. Off-premise, you're going to be advertising for other people, providing an opportunity for other people to advertise because you don't have a business on the property. Correct? Okay. So in looking at 155.051, our city ordinance, signs, billboards, and other advertising structures, what got us here is the section that talks about off-premises advertising signs or billboards may be permitted through use, permitted on review procedure in accordance with another section of the ordinance. So that's why we're here. That's why Steve's made the request. And it doesn't say anything more about the specifications of the sign, just that it has to be reviewed. So what's confusing for me is when you go look at the section that talks about on-premise signs, if you actually had a business on the premise and you wanted to put a sign up, that in that particular case, pole signs, which is what you've said you're going to be erecting, not to exceed 20 square feet, provided that pole signs do not exceed 20 feet in height. So if you're wanting to put a sign up on the site, the current signs you're putting up are 450, you're asking the council to approve are 456 square feet because it's an off-premise sign. But if it was an on-premise sign, you couldn't put up one any greater than 20 square feet. You've said that your sign, the top of it will be 37 feet above ground level. If it was an on-premise sign, it couldn't be any higher than 30 feet above the ground. So it's confusing for me. The other part of the ordinance says that advertising signs shall not be located in any area designated by the governing body as one of scenic beauty or natural attractions. And that's what the concern for people who don't want the signs there are concerned with. Such areas shall be approved by the city council and listed or illustrated by an attached map and or described by common name. In talking with Misty, I don't recall that the city's ever created one of these lists that we can go back and refer to, but our ordinance tells us that we should. So without being able to look at that and knowing whether, what area of the town has been designated as scenic beauty or natural attractions, that seems to muddy the water also. Other than that, as Steve has said, we talked with the building inspector. P&Z has approved that these billboards meet the off-premise definition. So it's up to council to decide how they want to vote on this. In one section, they would be adhering to the ordinance. In another section, they wouldn't be, because we don't have areas that have been approved by council and listed as scenic beauty or natural attractions. So ordinance tells us we should have that. We don't.
It says may, doesn't it? That it may be designated by council. I'm not sure that necessarily means that it should, just that you can, that you have the authority to, but you have not exercised that authority.
Advertising.
That's the way that I read it, that way.
Advertising signs shall not be located in any area designated by the governing body as one of scenic beauty or natural attractions. Such areas shall be approved by council and listed or illustrated by an attached map.
And they have not, in
No.
our knowledge, they have
No, and
not.
that's what I was saying. That's why I'm troubled. One section says that because it's off-premise, anything goes. But if you had a business there, the signs you're asking for wouldn't go. So the effect to the public is the same. It's just the use to you is different. And then the other section says that we should have this list identifying scenic beauty.
And that was going to be my question to that part of it is, was there ever a list compiled up of those places? So
I think you can stand in hot springs and turn 360 degrees and find scenic beauty.
I'm not going against you, Deb, I'm just asking a question. I don't have the luxury, I've only been here 20 years, so I don't have the luxury either way of going, oh, this, or this, that. So I want to look at codified laws, I want to look at ordinances, I want to look at reality first before I place principles before personalities. I want to make sure that we as a city, and according to our oaths that we have taken and we've heard tonight, that we're doing our due diligence. That's my viewpoint.
And I guess the way when I read this, and, you know, we all look at it possibly a little different, is because we're not told one way or the other. That's why we have the use permit on review, because we are in the Black Hills, we have beauty. We need to look at it and say, do we want to do this or not? And that's what we're doing here tonight. And so with the absence of a list, with the absence of do it, don't do it, we have to make a hard decision one way or the other.
Steve?
You stated on an on-premise sign, 20 square foot?
On-premise signs and highway service, which is what that area is. Pole signs not to exceed 20 square feet of aggregate sign area, provided that pole signs do not exceed 30 feet high.
Well, if you look at all the on-premise signs we have, from Builder's First Choice to the Econo Lodge, some of them are closer to 200 square feet.
Yeah.
And you've approved a lot of these billboards on the truck bypass already, following your same guidelines.
Can't speak to why past decisions were made, but I have respected that this council doesn't use past practices to necessarily determine what they should be doing going forward.
You know, and I understand the scenic value you guys are all looking at, but you got to look at the business end and survival of our community too, because business is important for a community. And if you don't have the business, you don't have anything. You wonder why them downtown stores keep closing. Think about it.
Well, to Larry's point, they've all taken an oath to follow the ordinances and apply them as they see appropriate. So once you start saying, well, you know, we're going to disregard that one because it just doesn't feel right in the moment, down the road, comes back and bites us a lot. So, all right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Stephen?
Just get up close and personal.
Hey, Stephen, do you have any studies done on can you quantify the business that you believe would come into the city on these signs?
when I first built what was a Texaco station, now is Big Bats at the corner. That's a store that I built years ago. Done some numbers with the state back then on traffic flows, and I haven't done any recent ones. But on the truck bypass from the intersection out there, this is what they call the route to Denver. The Class B intersection other than an interstate, and this is the second highest traveled Class B intersection in South Dakota. So that's a lot of traffic you guys are bypassing, Hot Springs. And I've had businesses in town, and I know how important it is to direct business to us, because we all struggle when we're in business. It's easy to stand on the sideline and say, this is not going to be beautiful, but you got to look at the people that are running them stores that have survival, and you just got to take that in context.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, would remind council that Deborah's motion is to not approve the use permit on review for Pine Tree Investments. And if there are no other questions or comments?
I'm kind of concerned with what JR brought up. If the signs do go up, and it's the leasee's responsibility to keep the signs up, and you have 2 now or 3 that are fading or need repair, and you have no recourse.
I can ask them to maintain, yes.
And then he could just say no.
Until his lease is up. And they're annual leases, so I can say I'm not renewing.
And that's annually? Thank you.
But they've been in disrepair more than 1 year.
Going back to use permits, procedure for authorizing uses permitted on review. Because the motion is to not approve the use permit on review, denial of a request. In the event the request for a use on review is denied by the City Council, reapplication shall not be permitted for a period of 1 year unless the zoning administrator determines that there has been a substantial change in the circumstances surrounding the request. So if council votes to approve Deborah's motion, Steve could not reapply for a permit for 1 year unless the zoning administrator determines there's been a substantial change in circumstance surrounding the request. Any other questions? Misty, would you call the roll?
So a yes vote is a vote to deny?
Yes.
J.R. Huddleston?
Yes.
Deborah Johnston?
Yes.
Hal Glanville?
Yes.
Bill Lukens?
Yes.
Melissa Niles?
Yes.
Travis Orbach?
Yes.
Larry Pratt?
Yes.
Linda Varvel?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, unanimous vote. The motion passes. The use permit on review is denied. On to new business. New business item A, approved contract agreement with Freedom Construction.
Make a motion to approve a contract agreement with Freedom Construction, Inc. for the City of Hot Springs Mueller Civic Center metal roof only bid schedule number 2 at $155,868.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item B, set budget meeting dates for July 25th and 27th.
I make a motion to set budget meeting dates for July 25th and 27th, beginning at 5 p.m. each day, with additional days to be added if needed, to be held at the Mueller Center Civic Center, 801 South 6th Street.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item C is not needed.
Is it
Correct. It's not needed.
for, put
We only
JR?
put president on
Okay,
there.
sorry.
That's okay.
New business item D, a plat of Tract A1 and Tract B-1 of Block 22.
Make a motion to approve a plat of Tract A1 and Tract B1 of Block 22 of Minnetonka addition to Hot Springs, Fall River County, South Dakota, formerly Tract A, Tract B, and Tract C.
Second.
Discussion.
So we're just renaming these plats?
Yes.
No, I think there's something.
They're actually, instead of, this is up where the old water tower used to be, and there's some really huge cement blocks that go pretty deep in that parcel, plus a lot of gypsum. And the people who have just bought the property want to put 2 houses instead of the 3 on the property, so they want to divide it in half going east to west instead of having the 3 smaller parcels. So there'll be larger properties so they can fit garages on them.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here from the public that wants to speak to this? All right. Deborah, what's planning and zoning's take on this?
They agreed that it would be a good way to utilize the property. They approved.
Thank you. Any other questions, council? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. New business item D, a plat of Idlewild North and Idlewild South.
I make a motion to approve a plat of Idlewood North Tract and Idlewood South Tract of Paul's subdivision, Hot Springs, Fall River County, South Dakota, formerly Lot 1 of Tract A.
Second.
Discussion. Bob, are you out there?
I am. I'm here available in the event that the council has any questions concerning this.
Can you recap this one for me?
I sure can.
Thank you.
My wife and I currently own what is now considered Paul Edition. Let me see how they have that. Lot 1 of Tract A. We are in the process of dividing that property that we own, which is approximately a little over 35 acres, into 2 parcels, one of which is the Idlewild North Tract and Idlewild South Tract. Idlewild South will be a little bit under 16 acres. And then we will be in the process of putting Idlewild South for sale.
Okay. So you're looking to sell to developers?
No, sir. We're looking to sell to a party of people that are going to keep it its the same state that it is in now.
Okay. So just personal property for someone, a buyer?
Yes.
Okay. Throwing covenants on there?
No, sir.
Thank you.
And just for information for out there, this property is located at the northeast corner of Hot Springs at the base of Battle Mountain.
I would be essentially the most northeastern portion of property in Hot Springs.
Yes.
To the east of Mias County and to the north of Mias County.
That'll be up Road, Thompson Avenue, going into the road that goes up to Lookout Mountain, Battle Mountain.
Yeah, I think
Correct.
that's called Battle Mountain Road.
Right.
Yeah. And that property, there is property on both sides of the road there, both the north side and the south side. And that would be in the Idlewild South Tract.
Correct. Thank you, Bob.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
New business item F, approve an automatic budget supplement.
I make a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $66,659.04 to the Police Department machinery and equipment budget 101-42100-43400 for the purchase and installation of 8 in-car computers. Revenue received from the SDDPS Department of Homeland Security Program Grant.
Second. Discussion?
So this is purely grant money that's being supplemented to the budget?
Chief Norton?
Oh, Chief Norton.
That is correct. So South Dakota Department of Public Safety, prior to my arrival, Jen Winscott, former chief, applied for a Homeland Security grant for 5 in-car computers and software. And we finagled it a little bit. There was some stuff we didn't need, and we ended up getting 8 in-car computers. I wanted to update council that all those are here. All the software's been installed. Sontech, who does our vehicle upfitting, all that stuff's been paid for. That's what the $66,000, that was for the computers, the install, everything like that. We hit a little bit of a snafu with the mounts for the in-car computers. They had to order different ones that mount to the seats as opposed to the center console. So we actually have one that's fully completed, ready to rock and roll. It'll actually be at our public safety meeting tomorrow. I'm going to bring that and show it to our public safety committee. But the computers, the software, everything is up and running right now on all those in-car computers. We just got waiting on one piece for each of the 7 remaining vehicles before they can be fully installed. Sontech expects that those will be in within a week, and then we'll just shuttle them up there one by one, get them done. So I anticipate that by mid-August, everything is ready to go with those.
There's still one more portion of this reimbursable grant that we're waiting on that you'll be supplementally appropriating as the bills are paid for the software.
With the software, yep. So,
What operating systems are on those? Some proprietary?
I'm way over my head, I don't know.
It's not Windows computer, right?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they're Windows?
They're Panasonic Toughbooks.
They're what?
What's that?
They're what?
They're Panasonic Toughbooks, and I think they operate on like Windows.
Oh, okay, so they are Windows.
11, 12. We, last week, we got our VPN established with Custer County because that's who hosts our server for the software. Got the VPNs established, so now we log in the VPN from any wireless network. We have MiFis for all the computers, all the cars, and it's pretty neat. So, yeah.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Yep.
All right, any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. New business item G, travel training request from Airport Manager Rick Breitenbach.
I make a motion to approve travel training request for the airport manager, Rick Breitenbach, to attend the 2023 airport sponsor CIP funding meetings in Rapid City, July 18th of 23.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. All right, we're on to our committee reports. Before we actually get into the committee reports, have made some changes to the committee assignments. Travis will be taking over the airport advisory meetings, and Bill has offered to work with you, as long as necessary for you to feel comfortable with that. The first meeting next meeting will be tomorrow, 8:30 at the airport. If you're looking for a ride, Bill's always a good candidate for that.
Thank you.
Be wary of this driving.
Let's see, have 2 others, Parks and Recreation. Linda has offered to be co-chair there. And then Public Works, we lost both the chair and the co-chair there. Bill has agreed to chair that committee, And Hal, if you would be vice chair for Public Works with Bill. All right. And then I'll take over the Golf Course Advisory Committee until we find another city administrator. Those are the changes. Committee reports, Administrative and Finance, JR, Melissa?
I defer to Melissa. Did you have any from last time?
No, it was
Gave
postponed.
them at the last meeting.
Okay. Our next meeting will be July 17th at 1 o'clock here at the Mueller Civic Center.
Thank you. Airport Advisory, as we just talked about, Travis, the next one will be tomorrow morning, 8:30 at the airport.
I'll report on that next time.
Did you have a previous report? Have you already given that one?
Already gave it.
All right, thank you. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management, Larry?
Next meeting is 13 July, 7 PM at the Mueller Center here. If you want to know what's happening to your garbage, come on down, we'll talk about it.
Thank you. Historic Preservation, Deborah?
I'm going to defer the minutes till next session. We just finished up before this council meeting, so the next Historic Preservation meeting is August 2nd, 5 PM here at the Mueller Center.
10 minutes isn't enough time to put the minutes together?
Sorry.
Thank you. Evans Pledge Advisory, Linda?
Our next meeting for the Evans Plunge Advisory Committee will be July 13th at noon at the Plunge.
Thank you. Parks, Recreation, Larry?
Our meeting today started at 2 PM. Present were Jason Migley, Al Jensen, Mike O'Connor, Joan Howard, Linda Farvell, Deborah Johnson, Gabby Martin, Bart Sieg, Chris Katke, and myself. We didn't have a cemetery report, no cemetery report. In the parks update, mowing and getting ready for summer events. The Mueller Center, the flat roof will be started middle of June. The metal part of the roof, no start date as of yet, but we voted on some of that tonight. On the rec update, programs are in full swing. Several activities on for July. Full schedule can be seen on city website. In new business, there's stone steps in Upper Chautauqua leading down to the water and needed repair. They're falling apart. We'll refer this to Public Works. Bill? Hal? Thank you. Thank you. Placement for farmers market sign was discussed. Spot over by the stage area was considered a bad spot. Electrical, plumbing, water, etc. was in the ground. Considering placing over by the arts market signage area. In pickleball update, there was a lot of conversation that was taking place on it, but what came out of it was there was a proposal by Jason Migley, was presented to the committee after discussion. Recommendation was to bring before the council so that everybody knows what exactly is happening with this. This was a little minor thing, probably not. Locking, unlocking a bathroom. The program has changed since the last police force. After discussion, recommendation was to refer to public safety. Bill? Yes, sir? Keep anything. In old business. The basketball boards, I reached out to some of the Elks members. Nobody showed up for the meeting, which is fine. The materials are needed for the hoops to be placed at Butler Park. Barta talked about getting the material list together, getting those things. Now the plan was to start this fall, winter, but due to the work availability, because the road project could possibly start after the road project. So we're back to square one again on that whole mindset. In the grass volleyball court, we had a member from Shrek came up, and we had a discussion over the volleyball equipment. At this point, with everything that's happened up to this time and the loss of our city administrator, the recommendation from the Parks Committee, Advisory Committee, was for Shrek to come before the council and have that conversation. In public comment, we had Al Jensen, Mike O'Connor from Southern Hills Drag Racing asked for use of the Butler Park for a car show. Now, they have 4 dates for the car show. They're not all 4, but they have 4 dates. They want to pick one, I believe. They are 5, they've got August 12th, August 19th, September 9th, September 23rd. They are a 501c that helps raise money to donate to various programs. They want a use of the electricity and the concession stand. The recommendation was to come before council for the use of Butler Park, but I wanted to bring this forward tonight because their first one, if it could be done, would be by the August 12th, any one of those dates. So that's, we can put it together, we can go from whatever direction we want to go with this one, I guess. That was pretty much it. The meeting ended at 2:55 p.m. The next meeting, August the 2nd at 2 p.m. at the Mueller Center. Everyone is invited. Linda, co-chair, you got anything to say, to add?
Nope, you got it all.
Thank you for volunteering, ma'am.
Can you clarify, they were looking to use Butler Park on all 4 of those dates?
No, they were looking for one date.
Okay, but those
Yes,
are the 4.
but those were the 4 dates they wanted to have.
So we would probably need to communicate with the Youth Soccer Association or the Baseball Association, since we already granted them use of the concession stand.
Yes, and that was mentioned to them.
So is anyone contacting them to?
Al Jensen will be given Naz, no, what is his name? Jess a call. Jess Nazi. Yeah. Giving those individuals calls. And then the mention was talking about like the concession stand. They said
The baseball's going to be over this next weekend.
Yeah, the baseball will be over.
Yeah, and soccer would, and soccer will be on the other side of the park.
So it shouldn't be a
And they have their
problem
own
to a point.
concession.
Right.
Linda, what time is that meeting at the Evans?
At noon.
Thank you.
That's all I got, Misty. Any other comments?
And August
concerns?
12th was their preferred date.
The preferred date?
Yeah.
Any questions for Larry? Linda? Thank you. Planning and zoning, Deborah?
Planning and zoning meets coming up on this third Wednesday, the 19th, 7 p.m. at City Hall.
Thank you. Public safety, Bill, JR?
Public safety meets tomorrow, the 6th of July, 2 p.m. at the Mueller Center Conference Room.
Thank you. Public Works, Bill, Hal? Bill, I believe you filled in for Dave and Craig.
Yeah, okay. Public Works met on Tuesday, June 27th at 1 p.m. At the Mueller Center. Present from the council were Dave Burris, Craig Romey, Deborah Johnson, myself, Mayor Nelson was present, and Public Works Engineer Tracy Bastian. For streets and maintenance, the Minnekrata Bridge deck has developed some issues. Bros Engineering will conduct an inspection on 6/28 and determine the next steps for that. We had a homeowner from South Dakota and Albany requesting the elimination of a sidewalk to allow parking. The committee discussed and agreed that per the ordinance, Title 9, Chapter 94.06, the sidewalk needs to be repaired and maintained, and the development coordinator will be communicating that information. Members of the street department continue to support the city responsibilities associated with the road construction project. Same comment for the water department. Continue to support the city responsibilities associated with the road reconstruction project. And that's also pretty much keeping the Public Works engineer busy. He's also following the various roof repair projects. No activities on code enforcement. 30-day look ahead on all departments. Primary activities for all members will be focused on the city responsibilities associated with the road construction project. Imagine that. In addition, Those noted on the active projects table will be followed. Regarding the active projects table, Albany Avenue and Boardwalk Hill, asphalt was being laid the week of June 26th. Edgewood Terrace waterline replacement, the council accepted the bid on June 20th, and work is to start around the end of July. Once that water line has been replaced, the street department will be resurfacing that road. Regarding hail damage repairs, and I can't remember if we talked about this already, but the library roof has been completed, the clubhouse has been completed. There are some possible repairs and modification needed for that. Evans Plunge pumping station has been completed, and an auxiliary building at the golf course has been completed. Wayfinding sign project, we're waiting on ISG to respond to the city's latest information submittals. Clubhouse retaining wall, there will be hopefully some bid openings at the July 11th Public Works meeting. Code enforcement regarding nuisance abatement, we discussed the current issues and options associated with that project. Regarding code enforcement on the demolition by neglect, that's a work in progress. Couple of projects that, since the mayor put me on this, I've added is we're developing a charter for the committee and also developing an action plan based on the City of Hot Springs comprehensive plan. There were some water odor issues on South 4th Street. Residents were requested to increase flow, and the city will be conducting some special samples on that water. There's a list of inactive projects that we're maintaining. These will all be on the Public Works tab under committees. I'm not going to go over those, but this will be maintained and updated. And basically, all of these projects are the various things that have been reported on in the past, but we're waiting on resources, and basically those resources are our folks that are spending all of their time working on the road project. So with that, any questions?
I'll say thanks for catching the corner of Albany and Boardwalk Hill. That's where I'm at.
It took a while.
Would that be dereliction or demolition? Would you set on that by neglect?
Demolition by neglect.
Okay.
And our next meeting is Tuesday, July 12th, 1 p.m. at the Mueller Center.
A couple additional items for Bill's report. He had talked about the bridge deck on Minnetonka. Bros was down last week. They took a look at it, and they recommended a product to the city to go ahead and get those holes repaired. So talked with Billy today. They'll get the materials ordered, and then they'll put that on their list of things to get taken care of. The demolition by neglect, I talked with Deborah today so that she could update historic preservation. If you remember, we had 2 letters that were sent out. The owner of the Bodega building and the, what I remember is the Fowler Crumer Purdue building, the building directly south of City Hall. A letter went out to each of those owners by registered mail. The one for the Bodega building has been received. The one that was sent to the owner of the Fowler Crumer Purdue building was denied, refused, they returned it to the city. So we'll have to talk with the attorney and see how we handle that one. The letters that went out gave each of the owners 90 days to let the city know what their plan for each of those buildings is, and then a total of 180 days to get the deficiencies taken care of. So we'll keep following that. The letters have gone out. Did P&Z Historic Preservation have anything they wanted to add?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory Committee will meet July 10th, 5 p.m. at the golf course, which brings us to our finance officer report. Misty?
Thank you. Welcome to our new council members. I prepare and present the following financials monthly. I encourage you to review the reports and ask any questions you may have related to them. Although municipal financing can be a bit overwhelming, I aim to make it as transparent and pain-free as possible. So attached to this memo, you'll find the following financial reports through the 27th of June. Please note, due to timing, these reports do not reflect the entire month. You have year-to-date profit and loss summary report, which is month and year-to-date revenues and expenditures separated by fund. You have a fund summary report, which is our budget versus actual for revenue and expenditures by fund. You have a cash balance report, which shows the current balances in our Wells Fargo checking account, which is our main account, by fund. And then you have investment reports by institution and by investment type. And those include all of the cash assets of the city. In addition to the monthly financials, I also take the opportunity to highlight some specific relevant topics in my monthly memos. And I'm going to start going over those now. So on the investment report this month, you'll notice we have a U.S. Treasury bond maturing on the 20th of July at South Dakota Fit. The funds maturing are our 602 water fund, and our restricted is debt service reserve funds, and that's required by our SRF financing debt instrument. At this time, my intention is to have council approve we reinvest those dollars in another 6-month treasury bond at the 7/17 council meeting. The rates are subject to change between now and then, but we are estimating the rate will be between 5 and 5.25%. Long-term rates are currently lower because the market is pricing in potential rate cuts next year. If you have any questions or concerns about this plan, please come in and discuss with me prior to the next council meeting. The City of Hot Springs 2022 annual report, financial statements, and complete audit report has been approved by council, and I'm currently awaiting the final draft from CADL so I can begin distributing and completing the steps necessary to remain compliant with our required reporting to lenders and the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board, which is required by the EPMS bond agreement. I will also submit the final report to the South Dakota Department of Legislative Audit and monitor their site to confirm it gets uploaded and marked as received and complete. And thank you to all of you for attending those meetings where we reviewed those. We are proposing, and you did approve, Tuesday and Thursday, the 25th and 27th of July for the 2024 municipal budget planning meetings. They're held at the Mueller Center and they start at 5 p.m. You can expect the meetings to last several hours, but I ask that we try not to go past 9 p.m. on any night. If needed, additional meetings can be scheduled. The statutory deadline for presenting the budget ordinance is the first meeting in September. As a reminder, although the meetings are open to the public, we don't usually invite individual department heads or organizations to come and make requests of the city during these meetings. I plan to present you the preliminary budget reports and worksheets by the 21st of July. The 2023 Elected Officials Workshop is scheduled for Wednesday, July 26th in Pierre at the Ram Coda. The one-day training is packed with sessions that are valuable to newly elected officials, as well as those that have previously been in office. This year, they include the South Dakota Public Assurance Alliance, Protecting Public Entities, the South Dakota Municipal League, Work Comp, municipal officials and employees, bids and contracts, financial and compliance matters, open meetings and executive session do's and don'ts, and conflict of interest for municipal officials. At this time, we have 2 elected officials interested in attending this training in person. Once again, the SDML will be offering a recording of the workshop for purchase. Let me know if you're interested in attending in person or for having the city purchase and review the recordings. I'd like to remind existing council members and communicate with our new members that a very important responsibility of yours is the review and approval of claims. This task demands more than a rubber stamp approval of the claim package. As a rule, a claim report should contain enough detailed information for you to make a favorable determination. Although the finance office staff reviews, audits, and enters the claims, the ultimate approval is your responsibility. The council is both entitled and obligated to ask any and all questions necessary to be comfortable approving all claims. There are administrative rules, internal and external policies, and state and federal purchasing laws that must be adhered to when spending taxpayer dollars. It's important to remember that all of our purchasing happens in full view of the public. I'm available to review claims with you prior to the council meetings and encourage you to ask any and all questions you may have. Once again, welcome to our new members, and thank you to all of you for what you do to keep our city running. As always, my door is open, and I appreciate all your questions and interest.
Any questions for Misty? Thank you, Misty.
Thank you.
I've received 3 applications for the vacant city administrator position. I'm reviewing those applications and have also shared the applications with Misty. Without a city administrator, other folks at City Hall are picking up the extra work, but I don't want to rush to fill the position. Misty is keeping me on track, and we'll take one step at a time to fill the vacancy. If anyone on council or in the public knows of someone that might be interested in the position, please let City Hall know. I want to acknowledge a number of groups that have made the last couple of weeks in Hot Springs an enjoyable destination for tourists as well as our own residents. First, I want to congratulate the Main Street Arts and Crafts Festival folks for organizing their festival for 46 consecutive years. As always, this year's festival was another great success. While ahead of the festival, the members of this group begin sprucing up Centennial Park. Because of the amount of time city staff are spending helping with the road reconstruction project, they weren't able to spend as much time preparing the park as they have in previous years. A special thank you to Gerald Culligan for the extra time he donated to accomplish a number of the things the city crews weren't able to complete. Second, I want to thank the folks that helped make this year's 4th of July parade a success. Because of the road reconstruction through town, it was necessary to find an alternate route for the parade. Parade organizer Greg Berry suggested the participants stage for the parade on 23rd Street and then travel down University Avenue, turning south onto 5th Street, and end the parade on Jensen Highway. On June 28th, ahead of the parade, city staff placed materials for barricades along the parade route. With the help of our own Hot Springs police officers, Wildland Fire staff, sheriff deputies, and American Legion riders, those barricades were set up Tuesday morning just prior to the parade starting. This year's route allowed for easy viewing of the parade, but I'm anxious for the road reconstruction project to be behind us so we can get back to the route we're all used to. And finally, I want to thank our city employees once again for putting on a fantastic fireworks display. While we were all enjoying the fireworks, these folks gave up their evening to entertain us. Whenever it's necessary for our employees to step up and serve Hot Springs residents, they don't hesitate to meet the challenge. And I've had a number of folks that have called to let me know that they were really impressed with the fireworks this year. So if you get a chance, thank the folks for putting on the fireworks display for us. And then thank you to all the folks that made the Main Street Arts and Crafts Festival, the 4th of July parade, and the 4th of July fireworks a huge success. I really appreciate it. Do you have any questions for me? All right, with that, we get on to a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion we go into executive session in accordance with codified law 1-25-2, 3, legal.
Second.
Discussion?
I heard the second from somebody over
Linda.
here. Linda? I had, okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. There won't be any action taken after executive session. And depending on how chatty council is, I don't expect that it'll be terribly long. There will be a pause before we resume an executive session. For our 2 new council members, executive session is in the room,
Thank you. You still on the bar?
conference room over there. so I got us all back at 8:55. Going to get a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Have a good evening, everyone.
See you in the morning.
10:45.
Yeah, 10:40.